Hey everyone, Reid Henrichs with Valor. I got Jared from Guns and Gadgets out here, and we are talking shop and shooting some guns. Let's go ahead and get started. Well, Jared, I appreciate you being out here, and glad you can make it out to Rifleman 1. And I've wanted to meet you for a long time. We finally made it happen. Drove all the way from Massachusetts, the birthplace of freedom, right?
Yeah. Once upon a time.
Yeah. And, I'm glad to have you, because one thing I admire about your channel, and if you guys don't know Jared, his channel is Guns and Gadgets. I've got a link in the description box below there. He's probably the best place for breaking Second Amendment news. Whenever a pro Second Amendment law gets passed or in a committee, he's right there on it. And whenever an anti-Second Amendment bill comes out, he's right there on top of it. So it's like, it happens, it's like I can't even do a video fast enough, and he's already uploaded it, because I'm out here on satellite internet, like 70 kilobytes a second upload speed, and he's up there in like New England making stuff happen. But in all seriousness, if you guys want a great channel for Second Amendment news, Guns and Gadgets is probably the best place for that breaking information on there, and he does it professional. He's like way less emotional than I am, but he's very passionate about the Second Amendment. So
thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It was an honor for me to come out here finally and, cross the dotted lines on the map from communism to freedom. It was nice to come down here.
You got to soak it all in now while you can, just kind of get that freedom re-infused in your bloodstream,
That's it.
Although you may be migrating yourself.
Yeah, there's probably a 99.9% chance that I'll be out of that state within the next year and a half, 2 years.
Good. And one thing I want to talk about with some of the people is that they want to get involved, and I mean talk about truly getting involved with pushing the Second Amendment forward in this country. And we see a lot of states doing that. We see a lot of counties doing that. We're talking almost half the counties in this country right now either being full nullification of any gun control laws, or true sanctuary counties or states even where no enforcement of that is going to happen, and maybe even prosecution against agents of government for doing that. So you got any tips for people who want to get involved? I know people are going to talk about, the voting thing. But what can people actually really do to make a difference?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that's a huge movement across the country right now, is the sanctuary movement, or the Second Amendment Preservation Acts. We have like 40% of the states who are taking some type of action right now.
40?
Yeah.
40%?
Yeah, and it's awesome to see. But the test of that is going to be when ATF calls a local PD or a sheriff and say, I need to kick this door in. So the Preservation Acts, like you said, some of them make it actually a criminal act for local PD or sheriffs of state to assist the feds with these unconstitutional actions on the Second Amendment. And the test is going to come down to where the rubber meets the road. Those constitutional sheriffs, hopefully, or the chiefs of police who have the intestinal fortitude to do the right thing. Far too often, in his 24 years on the job, I will tell you that I see a lot of people who are worried about the career. For me, it's never been about the career. It's always been about doing the right thing. And there are a lot of guys and gals on the job that still do the right thing, but they think like they're doing the wrong thing, I guess. So the guys and the gals out there who are constitutional minded, or who take their oath serious, know that there are a lot of people out there that support you. You shall not follow an unconstitutional order. And that actually means a lot to people. So if it comes down to it, those people who are in the constitutional carry states, or the Second Amendment sanctuary states, or the Preservation Act states, that's where the rubber meets the road. It's going to be the actual individuals who have to stand for what's right and do the right thing.
Yeah, and it's amazing, because when I've gone across the country and trained, had a lot of different experiences, not only giving classes, but also I've been involved in classes with a lot of guys in LE, and the conversations that we have after class are incredible. Mm-hmm. Like, these guys are like, man, it's like me and like 3 or 4 other guys that are standing up for anybody's rights, and the rest of the department's this way. And I said, well, dude, that's all you need.
Right.
That's all you need to do that. My thing is like, all right, advocacy for me is a big thing. I spend a lot of time advocating for the Second Amendment. Certainly here in my own county, which is a sanctuary county in Tennessee, like, we need it. We're going the opposite direction. We're going like pro. We just passed permitless carry, which I know you guys out there say, well, the Second Amendment is my permit. I agree with you, man. Like, I'm like right there with you. But the very fact that states are officially recognizing that,
that's huge.
It's an amazing thing. I remember back in the 80s where there weren't hardly any states at all.
Right.
For concealed carry. I think like New Hampshire, Vermont, Alaska, and then Florida in 1986 were like the first ones. But now it's like it's getting pushed in this direction. We got a big Supreme Court case coming up that they're going to hear about, may issue, shall issue, and maybe even a wider scope than that.
I hope they do the right thing. The scuttlebutt on the inside is that the anti-gunners know the writing's on the wall, and that they see this is going to be a big defeat for them. But ultimately, like anything that a judge does, it has to be worded correctly. I mean, the reason we're here right now, 10 years after the fact, is because the way that the Heller case and the McDonald case were worded, they left question marks, and the anti-gun states inebriate those question marks. And so, for instance, most people know this, but Heller gave us the individual right to have a firearm in our home. He didn't mention anything about outside the home because that wasn't a question in the case. The case was specific for in the home, so the states ran with that. And that's what this whole movement is for now with the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. It's coming down to a licensing scheme for New York. So New York, they won't let you have a permit to carry outside concealed carry. You can have a premises permit, which you can carry in your home, or to a business that you own, or if you have a second home. But in New York, like if you're lucky enough to be rich or somebody famous, you can get a permit in the city, but it's not good upstate. There's just so many there's a spider web of laws that have caused this issue. And I think we have 8 states that are not shall issue, that they may issue.
The rest are shall issue.
Right, and that's exactly what if they word it correctly, and they find correctly, it'll shatter that. Mm-hmm. So it will, if they do it the right way, there will be no reasons for people to jump through a hoop. Like in New York, you have to show a proper cause, or Hawaii, you have to show a cause, and just saying I want to defend myself isn't good enough. You have to be chased by a bunch of UFC guys ready to bite your ears off or something. And even still, you might not get your permit. So this case will attack that, and we're just hoping that they word it correctly. Yeah. And because it's a major case, we're probably not going to hear anything from them until June of 22.
So we're over a year out at this point.
Quite possibly.
And I'm looking at, in between states, it's like, well, here in Tennessee, we have permitless carry, and in many other states, it's either open carry or concealed carry without a permit. I mean, we're looking at 33, 34 states where you don't have to have any permission whatsoever to carry. I think that's a major thing. 50, it needs to be 50 out of 50, and it needs to be that as soon as possible. And I'm looking at that possibility of more of these things happening. I see that there are certainly attacks on the Second Amendment right now at the federal level and in certain states. But I also happen to think that, the more people getting into firearms, like so many people watching this, and they want to get involved, not just with going to the range in that, what would you recommend for people that want to get involved in pushing that goal line? We're pushing more and closer towards that goal line. What would you recommend?
So I'm a big fan of getting in people's faces, but doing it the right way. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go shove a representative unless they, do something to shove me. But you need to have a relationship with especially if, like county government. We don't have county government in Massachusetts anymore. They just did away with that because that was too constitutional. Mm. If you have a county, whether it's elected officials for the county government or the sheriff, get to know them. They're just people and they work for you. Start building those relationships. And if you can't make them understand why whatever bill or ordinance is bad, then look towards the future and replacing them. Make sure they get primaried. Make sure that they're replaced. Find constitutional people to run for office, because for far too long it's been business people running for office, or lawyers. And I mean, I don't really trust too many lawyers, but they're all running the country. So that's a key thing is the grassroots effect. Yeah. Get involved, get to know your state and local people, get to know even your congressmen and women. Get to know them, especially if you live in I know people who live in New Hampshire. It's such a sparsely dense populated area. They literally go knock on the door of their representatives and have conversations. So know the people who are making the decisions. And if they don't make the right decisions and you can't influence them, then replace them.
And there's one thing I really specifically want to address, because this is something that comes up again and again. First of all, I'm a person that if I see a change needs to happen, then I enact that change. I at least try to influence all that I can to enact that change. But one thing that really is annoying and irksome to me is the Debbie Downer defeatist attitude individuals. Oh, there's nothing we can do. Oh, I live in a deep blue thing. There's nothing I can do. And what I'm hearing is that I'm finding reasons and excuses not to do things. And if this bothers you, the shoe fits, put it right on and jog a couple miles, because I'm not this person that is like this victim mentality. Like, you have to actually take a bite out of something and grab a hold of it. Like, your state and your county didn't get deep blue overnight.
Right.
It's not going to get fixed overnight. And you're like, well, man, that's easy for you to say, Reid. You live in Tennessee. Like, look at your environment and all this and that. Guys, we had like 0 gun control in Tennessee, and then we had no need for Sanctuary County. And the reason it happened is because we brought 500 people to our county meeting where it was voted on unanimously, 24-0. Yeah. And there were a couple of them that were going to vote against it until they saw how many people showed up there. Yeah,
accountability is huge, especially in politics. It's huge. And we absolutely, so the defeatist attitude is what got us where we are now. Far too often people will see, hey, Reid will take care of that. I know him, he lives in my county, he'll make that effort. Or Jared will do it for us. There's one person can't get it done. I tell people, make the phone calls, go to office hours and visit these people, and let them know, put yourself on their radar. Think about it as a business. You sell a product and it's terrible, but only one person complains about it. You're not going to know about it. 50,000 people complain that that product's terrible, then changes are made.
Yeah, they may even change a YouTube algorithm on a presidential channel because of too many thumbs down.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
In fact, I was subscribed to that channel, but I didn't subscribe.
Have you had have you had people unsubscribe from your channel that said they did not unsubscribe?
All the time.
I've had like thousands of people say I never unsubscribed, and then they have to resubscribe again.
all the time, every day.
Yeah.
I get at least 3 emails a day.
Yeah.
It's so when you're over the target, you get flack.
That's okay. That's fine by me.
Yep. It's a part of the game, but that means we're doing something right.
It is. And I just, really, people want to do something, but the thing is, guys, is that, you've got to take influence, your sphere of influence, you got to take that influence back. We always talk about, if with a rifle, if I can see anything 400 or 500 yards, I control that area. Right. Well, the same thing in your life. If you got people out there and you want to talk, because here's the thing, like the people against the Second Amendment, the people that are trying to enact gun control, the people that are trying to do all these gun control bills, they know logically and with evidence that they are getting their butts whooped.
Absolutely.
And they know this.
Yep.
And so now it's different rhetoric. It's you start hearing different things, but they know they're losing, and they know that they're on the run, and so we got to keep that pressure up. Look, they want to be shrill, they want to run their mouths, they want to go out and do it. Well, guess what? We can do the same thing. The difference is that we can do it like a lot more classy and a lot more politely. And I found it just by looking them right in the face, deadpan, and just spouting them up. They don't know how to handle it. They shrill and they cry and they have like seizures and they convulse, and it's like they don't know what to do, and it's like my most joyous moment in life.
Well, because they're so used to people kowtowing, and when they run into somebody who's an alpha, they don't know how to handle it because they're used to being that person. But just the last year and a half, we've seen 40% of this country go constitutional carry. 37.9% of all the counties in the country have gone Second Amendment sanctuary.
Incredible.
It's an awesome movement, and it's on us to keep it going. It's just not going to happen. It's on us to keep it going.
Guys, if you found the information helpful, subscribe to the channel. You can subscribe to this one as well. And Jared at Guns and Gadgets, as I said, that link's in the description box below. And if you want to keep getting news, check his channel out here. You'll come out and get trained, come on out and see us. We'll help you get good with your pistol or your rifle. And you got anything before we sign off?
Nah, man, you guys and gals out there are more powerful than you realize, especially when you meet like-minded people. So know that and grow it, because ultimately we're going to need each other sooner or later.
I'm a big believer in standing together with people when the most necessary time happens, just like our ancestors did more than once. And I think it's a very good thing. And with that, you need courage, but before even that, you need wisdom and knowledge to know not only why you're fighting, but what the ultimate purpose is. I think there's a lot on the line for the future. I think there's a lot on the line for humanity, and most certainly here in the United States, I think there's a lot on the line.
Absolutely.
And I think that history is going to judge this generation by what we do, and maybe even possibly what we don't do. But I'm a big believer in Americans stepping up when the time is right, and being able to have that skill set to do that is very important, and have the courage and the fortitude to do that comes from knowledge of who you are and why you are where you are.
Right, 100%. I agree.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you, brother.
All right, guys, Reid Henrichs with Valor Ridge reminding you the lessons that we learn are written on the tombstones of others. We'll see you on the ridge.
You want to do your closing first?
No, we can, you know, yeah, it's fine. I'm good. I think it's good because people will be like, dang, man, you really get in their face. Like, yeah, frequently.
Yeah, absolutely.